was rude, but you broke the law, we must include. Nobody ever dismisses her order, not a subject, not a guest, not even a border. The number one rule of the land is do not ignore royal command. No one says no to the queen from the dawning days of Wonderland. This is an issue on which we take stand. No one says no to the queen. No, 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 no one says no to the queen.
Hello. I hope you didn't mind the tap on the shoulder. I've been told it's a good way to get the attention of someone who's hearing impaired.
It is. How did you know?
Oh, well, you hear things. Sorry. Not really. I noticed you're wearing a hearing aid.
You're a very observant caterpillar.
Oh, well, thank you. So, tell me, why were you walking around with such a long face?
For some reason, the Queen banished me from Wonderland.
The Queen banished you from Wonderland? Well, Her Majesty does have her crabby days. Come to think of it, they're all crabby days. It seems to me like the Queen just acted before she had all the information. Perhaps I'd better tell you this story. Once there was a kangaroo named Keith who jumped a lot. Now, of course, all kangaroos jump a lot, but Keith had a tendency to jump to conclusions. In other words, no matter what he saw going on, he always thought the worst without finding out the whole story. When he saw a collection of koalas consuming, he jumped to the conclusion that it was a party where he was not welcome. And when he saw a clique of kookaburras cackling, he jumped to the conclusion that they were having a laugh at his expense. Finally, Keith jumped to the conclusion that he didn't have any friends. But Keith did have friends, and one of them finally put his foot down. Keith's friends scolded him for always jumping to conclusions. If you just stick around long enough to see what's really going on, his friend said, you'll realize that things aren't always what they seem. Keith decided his friend was right. Jumping to conclusions was a good way to get his feelings hurt. So from that day on, Keith never jumped to conclusions, and this put a bounce back into his step. So, it looks to me like the Queen just heard something and jumped to the wrong conclusions. Maybe she'll realize she made a mistake.
Then I'm out of my ear, so to speak.
Her Most Royal Majesty, the Queen of Hearts.
All right. I'm going to try one last time to give my speech. Friends, royal subjects, loyal Wonderlandians, lend me your ears. Wait a minute. Where's the hair?
Here I am, Your Majesty.
You're late, and you're talking.
Sorry, Your Majesty, but I have to have a word with you. My cousin's leaving on the 5 o'clock train. Her note says you banished her from Wonderland.
Yes, because she said no to the Queen.
And she didn't even have the courtesy to turn around and look at me when I invited her to the palace.
See, even they're shocked.
That's not why we're shocked, Your Majesty. We're shocked because you jumped to the wrong conclusion.
Hannah, who said you could speak?
I'm sorry, Your Majesty, but it's time we all spoke up.
Alice, you're speaking too? Oh, and you used to be such a nice girl.
But, Your Majesty, Hare's cousin didn't turn down your invitation out of disrespect.
No, she didn't even hear it.
Now, how can that be? Why, when I spoke to her, I was standing directly behind her.
But you have to stand in front of her so she can see you're talking. My cousin's deaf.
Oh, so then she never even heard the invitation.
So I banished the poor woman from Wonderland for no good reason? Well, don't just stand there. We've got to stop her before she gets on that train.
I'm sorry you're already leaving Wonderland. I was kind of hoping you'd teach me that sign language.
Come with me. I'll teach you.
Great. You'll be hearing from me.
Stop! Don't get on that train.
She can't hear you, Your Majesty.
Remember, that's how you got into this mess in the first place.
Oh, yes. April, I owe you a big apology. I'm afraid I made a mistake.
She says she made a mistake.
And I'm queen enough to admit it. Rabbit!
Whereas the Queen of Hearts is the most royal of royals, and whereas the Sovereign of Wonderland is always fair, and whereas...
Gee! I've got to lighten up on the official language. Rabbit, skip to the good part.
Therefore, by proclamation of Her Royal Majesty, you are hereby unbanished from Wonderland.
And now, I'd be honored if you'd be my guest at the palace and teach me some of that nifty sign language.
Oh, I would like to.
After all, a queen can always use another language for bossing people around.
Well, the important thing is we're all friends now. In other words, we speak the same language.
Success, we have succeeded. Success where it was needed. Everybody has a way to say hi, and I confuse it with goodbye. Words look different, alphabets too, are written on paper or signed by hand. We speak the same language 'cause we all understand. Friends can communicate in so many ways. They can hear or see what